The new Black Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, live life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. It's on the new Black Wall Street. Here's your host. The new Black.
All right, beautiful people. Unfortunately, it's not Coach Cortez, but it is his brother from another mother, ERGJ, man, your certified global financial educator, with a special broadcast from the new Black Wall Street. We have, I guess we call it Money Talks Monday. And a special broadcast because typically I don't come on and broadcast this late, but we have a special message that we're going to be talking about here tonight from one of my mentees, one of my good friends who actually paid out $15,000 in debt. And so, we talked for a little while, and she said she'd like to share a message with the people. I said, well, let's put it together. I mean, that's a special accomplishment. People don't think they can do it. You did it. Let's talk about how you did it, how you felt, and all that good stuff. Let's get the full experience, right? Let's get the full experience for someone who actually done it. So for those that don't know, I teach people how to get out of debt, how to get rich and build wealth. And sometimes you got to show people receipts. And those receipts can be through other people. And of course, I'm not the one who did the work. But I played a little hand in the encouragement to go ahead and get it done. And so I really want to know what role I played. I don't really know, but we'll find out here tonight. Now, while you guys are connecting, man, let us know where you're connected from, what city, what state, what country, what city, what state, what country. If you are connected to someone who, might need to be here tonight. Maybe they need a little encouragement. They're looking at that wall of debt. They're looking at them student loans and those medical bills, and they just can't take it no more. Well, maybe they might be encouraged here tonight, and you could do them a favor by letting them know we got someone who has done it, and we'll be talking about it here tonight. Let us know what city, what state, what country you're broadcasting from. We are in the beautiful place called Decatur, where it's Greater Georgia, and we'd love to know just how far our reach is here tonight as we're broadcasting across the World Wide Web, talking about something I believe is very important, right? Dealing with money. What you gonna do, right? We made a lot of decisions in the past, and we can take some action to honor the commitments that we made. As it relates to the things that we signed up for. But at any rate, I want to say hello to everybody that's from my personal page, BBC TV, Financial Health Mentor page, looks like Wealth Care University, BBC, also the support group page. And so for those that don't know, we collaborate, we work together. And I'm glad that you guys are seeing me maybe for the first time. You might be from another page or something like that. But no, we work together, Black people working together to continue to spread messages to the rest of the community through all of our different channels. So you'll see me on Cortez pages. You'll see Cortez on my page. We have a collaboration, so to speak, a content creation collaboration. And all of that you can find by simply going to BBC TV. So that is where our Black content creators are coming together to form something to start here and then build a media platform, because we understand we got to fight against the most powerful force in society, which is mainstream media. In case y'all don't know, let me say that again. The most powerful force in society is mainstream media. They get people to believe what they put out there, and we don't question it. We believe they're right. Anyway, let's find out who's here, and we'll get right into the thing, because it ain't a me thing. It's a we thing. I ain't got much to say. I got a lot of questions to ask. Miss Regina Turner, thanks so much for joining us here tonight on our Money Talks edition from the new Black Wall Street. Miss Vivian Reed is in the hizzy. Thanks so much. Miss Michelle Teresa Coakley Golf, 15 names. I'm going to call you Miss 15 names. No, I'm just saying. Thanks so much from Lithonia, Georgia. Mr. Benny Dilworth Sr. out of Houston, Texas. Miss Sincere Newman out of Mableton, Georgia. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. So we have a sister who paid off $15,000 in debt. And I got the exclusive. I mean, she didn't go on Dave Ramsey to cut up the credit card. No. She came on over to the Black station and said, I got something to share. Let me go ahead and introduce our sister here, Miss Tisha Benjamin. She is from Mississippi. Let me bring her to the screen right now. All right. You over there taking notes. I got you. Want to make sure you don't miss nothing. What's going on with you, Tisha?
I'm good.
Well, thanks so much for joining us here tonight on this magnificent Money Monday. Thanks so much for, sharing your story, your testimony. Of course, there's some people here that need to know who you are. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you do what you do.
Okay, my name is Tisha Benjamin. Of course, I've been in the group for about a couple months now. I am the owner of Jay's Beauty. We have an online boutique, and we also have a brick and mortar boutique here in Mississippi. I went back to my hometown and I opened up a women's store. So me and my mom, we run our store. My mom is the manager of the store, and I control the online stuff. So yeah.
Okay. And the daughter, I believe the daughter's involved as well.
Yes, I have two daughters. I have a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Okay.
So my daughter, my 13-year-old, she's studying editing and stuff like that. So when y'all see my pictures now, my reels and a lot of my setups, my 13-year-old daughter is getting into doing that, and she's also been doing some other businesses, websites and stuff like that. So she's been helping me with a lot of stuff like that.
Okay. I need you to move over to your left just a little bit. You're still off center.
Off center.
There we go. There we go. Fantastic. So let's get right into the thing, because I know people got a lot of questions. Obviously, you're running a family business. Everybody put it on, so keep it in the family. Before we get into how you paid off $15,000 debt, I think we want to know, how did you get into debt in the first place?
I got into debt because I was pretty much, let's just keep it real, I was very impatient. And I did not strategize building a plan for my business. So before my business, I didn't have any credit card debt. So when I got ready to start my business, I had $10,000. I had $10,000 saved. So of course, when you get ready to get started at a brick and mortar, $10,000 goes very fast, right? So my $10,000 went very fast in like 2 months after getting everything, like my rags, everything up and started. So once I got the $10,000 out of the way, I was like, I still don't have any inventory, like, to get my store started. So I end up going to a local bank that we have here. Actually, it's the bank that bought my house for me. Like, they helped me get my house when I was 22. And so when I went to the bank, I had a 700 credit score, by the way. I had a 700 credit score, and they told me that I can get 100K, but I had to put my house up for collateral. And I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. Not with a 700 credit score. And then they was telling me about it was a brand new business. So I kind of got irritated with banks after that, and I said, I'm just not gonna go that route. I really don't even need that much money. So I said, I got my some money right here in my hands. I got cards that I never used. So I started charging a little bit here, 800 here, 900 here. And then before I know it, I had maxed one of them out. And that was my Capital One card. So I maxed my Capital One card out, and I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna make the money back. And a lot of people around me, like, go ahead, you investing in your money, like, this is a good thing. Like, that was very bad advice at the time. And so excuse me, but my kids are talking in the background. So I maxed that one out, and then I had a Chase card. On my Chase card, I had $9,000 on my Chase card. So once I maxed out my Capital One card, by the way, I was starting my business. Everything was slow, and by that time, we was getting ready to go into 2020. COVID had hit, and I just used my credit card to buy inventory, and I never strategized, like, no kind of payment plan or nothing like that to pay them back. It just spiraled out of control, and before I know it, I had maxed out 2 credit cards.
Wow, this is interesting. So I want to kind of set the stage here, because this is not someone that's just kind of built, got the debt over time, with frivolous spending and buying the couch and just had to have everything that you want. But this was actually, I would say, pretty smart. I would call this good debt, in the sense that you were using it in order to actually generate some income for yourself and or for your business. And of course, there's other ways to go about doing that, but that's what you knew at the time. But then talk to me about the part that I think the part that stands out to me when you say this. You say it got out of control. What do you mean by that?
It got out of control as to when, as I would say, out of control is when I had started to make money in my business, and I still did not apply the money back towards my credit card bills. So when in April of 2020, when COVID came, the credit card companies sent out a letter, or they was calling everybody, which, by the way, this is a setup, but they was calling everybody saying, well, do you want to defer your credit card payments 6 months? No, it was 3 months at a time. And so I took the first deferment. So that was like putting my due date on hold where I didn't have to make a payment because of COVID. So I did that 3 times. In the process of doing that, I said, well, while I'm doing this, I'm going to start paying some money back. But I did, but I just kept, even when I paid it back, I went back and used it and used it and used it. So I didn't strategize a plan when I used it to make money, but when I made the money, I didn't come back and put it back to where I was supposed to put it for. It was a lot of strategizing that didn't take place. And so,
So if I may interject, not only I wouldn't just say not even just strategizing and planning. Those are two key words. Could also say discipline. I mean, did you even have any intention of like, okay, I'll put this back, but then when the money came, it totally kind of got you're busy, stuff like that. Totally not even really think about it. And I would say probably because you didn't really handle debt prior to you now getting into debt. I mean, because it sounded like you were kind of out of debt, and then this was a kind of a last resort or something that you could utilize, and you can leverage debt in this manner. That's actually a smart thing to do for business, but you obviously probably want to start building on your business credit. But did it kind of get just lost in the sauce? As you were just building your business and your mind. I mean, you're only one person. Your mind trying to stay focused on your business may have kind of just got. You think about it when the bill comes, you put it up so you pay it later, and you don't pay it later.
To be honest with you, out of all honesty, I just I was focused on just building my business. And something always in the back of my head said, I'm gonna get around to paying this off. I never had a spirit of procrastination, but even when I paid, it was like I just didn't pay my credit card. I just paid the minimum. So when I paid the minimum, it just ate it right back up in interest when I got ready, when my statement came back. So it was like you just paid nothing.
Right. And I think this is interesting though, because you just said something else. You said, I'll get around to it later. And I think that's a very similar phrase that many people use when it comes to some of this stuff right now. In your case, it was, I'm building my business. That's my focus is that. I love to ask the audience, those that are watching us here live, we got 20 people watching us live. If you find yourself in debt, and you find yourself saying the same thing, I'll get around to paying it off. I'd love for you to share in the comments below where your focus is. Now, before we get again how you paid it off, tell me what this being in debt, and obviously you got to a point where you were fed up. You said, man, I'm out of control, or it's out of control, and you wanted to take back control. But what was this really doing to you? How was it making you feel? What were some of the emotions or some of the thoughts that you started having as this stuff started to pile up before you decided, you know what, you're going to do something about it?
So like I said before, I never had like a lot of credit card debt because like I always believe in whatever I get, just cash flow. But however, there was something that I really couldn't cash flow. So as I started building my business and getting into my business and making money, I was making the money, and then every month I was getting these statements to my email, and I'm looking at these looking at the emails and stuff like that, and it's saying, oh, you owe this amount of money, that amount of money. So I started back. I had stopped watching your lives when I was on a COVID assignment. I had stopped watching your lives and stuff like that. I'm just gonna be honest. I had stopped watching them because every time I watched your live, it made me very much aware of the situation that I was in. So
what do you mean by that?
The situation that I was in, as far as like in the credit card debt.
Right. No, But
Yes.
when you say watching my lives made you aware, what were some of the things that was being discussed or happening on my live that made you aware of something that you knew you needed to take care of?
By watching your lives, it gave me a feeling of guilt, because you always talk about getting rich, and every time you like getting rich. Debt is debt. We don't need to be in debt. We need to own our shit. We need to do this and that. So by watching your lives, it pierced my soul, and I was like, I just can't watch Evan right now, because I'm just trying to do what I'm trying to do right now. I really don't even want to deal with that. Like, I'm gonna get to that later. So I started watching, and so as I got ready to as I got into I'm gonna tell you my breaking point.
Okay.
My breaking point was in 2020. In April we had to close my boutique because of COVID. The state made us close because of, so that was in April. Around August of 2020, I had ended up coming back home and getting off a COVID assignment. And one, I'm not gonna cry, but I rarely worked my boutique because my mom worked my boutique a lot. But this particular Saturday, I was at home. I wasn't on assignment. I said, I'm gonna work my boutique. So I went up at 8:30 and we opened up at 9. And I was outside. We got some little flower pot things outside. So I was outside cleaning them up. I'm not dressed up or nothing. I got like an African head wrap or something. And a white, I shouldn't say that. But a Caucasian lady came up to me and she said, do you know who business this is? And so I was kind of puzzled at first, and I didn't answer her at first. And then she kept talking. She said, this is a very nice business. Who do you work for? And I turned around and I told her, I said, this is my business. And she laughed. She said, this is your business? I said, yes, this is my business. And so once that happened to me, and then she walked away. But it was something in me that clicked. And I always been reading about my culture and stuff like that. And I said, that empowered me to own my shit, if you know what I mean. So my business was never my business. My business actually was owned by the credit card companies. It wasn't mine yet. The reason I say that is because I used that money to build my business. So I made up in my mind, I said, I'm not hardly working right now. I'm just really just working my business. I said, I've got to find some money to get out of this, because it makes me feel like a slave inside of my own business. It's just like when you borrow money from the government, like these people getting all these loans and stuff. It's like it takes away the power you have in your own business. So I'll explain that later. But anyway, I went back to work full time, and I've been working full time for a matter of 8 months already. As up until today, I went back to work full time, and people said, "You stupid! How you gonna run a business and also run a boutique? You're gonna be wore." I heard all kind of excuses. I heard it from my husband. I heard it from everybody. But from the day I went back to work, I started strategizing how I was going back to work just to pay that debt, because I said I have to free myself. And when I said free myself, people be looking at me like, what are you talking about? I had to free myself because it was never my goal to run a business that was acquired through a lot of debt. Because when I say I want to own my shit, I want to own my shit. So even though with doing that, making up my mind, and I still couldn't get my financial stuff together. So I started back watching you. You start talking about cryptocurrency. You start talking about a lot of stuff like that. Every morning I got on. The more I watched, I just began to get a more conviction. I was like, darn, I'm motivated. I really want to do this. Like, I'm almost 40 years old. Like, I can be rich already. You telling yourself that. And so I wanted to invest a lot and I wanted to do a lot of things, but I was I stumbled to do so because of my financial status. So pretty much you become a prisoner to the debt that you in, because I couldn't invest. And if you can't invest, you can't make the money that you want to make. So I went back to work. I still could not quite get my financial self together. My motor blew up in my truck. I had to get a brand new vehicle, which I was so against. It was just so much happened. So on December the 30th, 2020, and I'll never forget this day, I went into prayer. You know, another thing that I had stopped doing, I had stopped praying. Why I stopped praying? Because I felt I was so busy working on my business, I just stopped praying. But anyway, this particular day, I got down and I prayed to God for God to help me. That's all I said. God help me. I went to Dollar Tree. I got out a pen and I got out a paper and I wrote down everything that I owe, from Netflix to everything. And I started, my credit card debt was at the top of my list. It
All right.
was almost, huh?
I was gonna say stop right there for a second. This is very kind of important. Um for those that are watching, man, go ahead and put in the console free myself. I want you to think about, and it may not be credit card debt for you. It may be something else. Everybody's dealing with their own set of issues, their own world that they created. But you absolutely can free yourself, and obviously, with the aid of your father or your spiritual, whatever it is that you believe, you can free yourself. I think it's so very important that you take responsibility, knowing no one's coming to free you. Like notice he didn't say that, you know, Evan or the BBC or whatever. We kept doing what we were doing. You know what I mean? Which is shedding the light, speaking truth to power, right? But she decided she got a free. She realized I got myself in this mess. I'm gonna get myself out of it. But notice where she's at in her story now. She's saying, you know what, I'm in prayer. And I believe that moment that she started to write her shit down, that was something that she was led to do based upon the prayer that she shared. So now she's getting to a space where she knows her numbers. Everybody put in console, know my numbers. You can't come really talk to me or get counseling for me or get coaching for me if you don't know your numbers. Because we need to know what we're fighting. We need to know, and this is a very difficult step. To face the music. Here's what it is. If it's $12,000, it's $12,000. If it's 13, 5, 40, 24, know your numbers. You can't hit a target that you won't look at, that you won't see. Know your numbers, right? And I believe that's probably, you tell me, but I went through the same thing. Obviously, you know my story. When I wrote down my shit, it had to be one of the most humbling experiences and one of the most embarrassing experiences at the same time to myself. So when you started writing this stuff down and looking at it, how's that making you feel?
I was embarrassed. It's something about me that I it's like something I like to carry about myself, but I was actually ashamed. I was ashamed because it's not like I didn't have the money to pay it. I was ashamed of it. So once I had the spirit of feeling ashamed or conviction, I did everything in my power to pay it off. And it's something I didn't tell you, but I have a lot of stuff in my house that I had that, you know, you just collect, and that's another thing. I work on being a minimalist. So I just stuff just collect. So a lot of people would say, I don't have the money. How can I pay that amount? I don't make that kind of money. What I started doing, if you get desperate enough to win, you'll do whatever it takes. So I sold my kitchen table. I sold clothes out of my closet. I sold a lot of stuff that I thought I need that I did not need. I put every dime, and even my paycheck, I worked 60 hours a week, 48 hours a week, whatever it took. I put every dime into my credit card debt. I got the smallest one first, which was $3,500. I broke it into 3 payments. I put it on auto draft, and I let it auto draft. I didn't go back. I didn't look back. And a lot of people say, how did you live? The money I made in my business, I lived off of that. So if I lived off the money that I made in my business when I paid off my credit card, now that I'm free, I can live off the money in my business. So yes.
So let's talk about this. So let's just say this 3,500 auto pay. That's basically about $1,200 or so, about $1,200 per pay period, I imagine. In order for you to do that, that means that you were either stupid confident, like I'm just dumb, it's gonna have to work. You had that stupid faith, you know what I mean? Or for to make sure that the money was there to be drafted. That happens to people, right? We get these overdraft fees, and so that puts to me, that puts pressure on yourself to ensure that you keep doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
I mean, that's a measure of disciplining yourself. Like this thing on auto draft, that money got to be there. So I got to make sure that money there by hook or by crook.
Yeah, I made sure it was going to be there because I never stopped working. I didn't take days off. I kept working my night job. And I knew as long as I kept working my night job, I knew a certain amount of money I was going to have guaranteed. I didn't dedicate that money to nothing else. I put that money directly into that card. So I said, I know if I work 5 shifts or I work 6 shifts on this assignment, this is the money that I'm gonna have. And another thing that I did is I love online shopping. I did no online shopping at that time. The only thing I bought was food, gas, water, and I just went to work. That's all I did. I didn't get my nails did. I sacrificed. I didn't do none of that. So
and that's the key, that word you just said, there, sacrifice. And so it sounds to me that you were and this is a great lesson because the sacrifice actually is temporary, right? We're talking about, I mean, it's now May. We're talking about, you said December to May, or you're talking about 5 months of sacrifice for your financial freedom. I mean, that sounds like a great exchange to me, and I don't think that many of us really capture that for ourselves. How many guys are willing to give up 5 months? You're willing to sacrifice 5 months for your own financial freedom? Which one you want to have? You want to, what I'm saying, stay in debt, broke, busted, and disgusted, or 5 months of hard work and sacrifice and discipline? Now, here's the interesting thing, because I'm experiencing the same thing on the health side, right? Let's just call it what it is, right? You were able to, accrue debt. It was easy to go into debt. Easy. I mean, it's easy, just boom, just like that. I got to get this, got to get that, got to get that, right? But it's actually hard to get out.
Right.
But when you tackle it, you get out much faster than you think. Most people start thinking that's going to be 5 years I'm going to be sitting here sacrificing. No, now when you go to work, now when you get serious, now when you say, you know what, everything that I don't need to have, I'll be willing to get rid of if it's that important to me. You know what I'm saying? Now if I need to pick up the extra job or find another stream of income if it's that important to me. See, you know what I found? People are not willing to sacrifice their luxuries for freedom, or their comforts for freedom. Right. And it also says to me, it's very interesting, because I remember you disappeared for a while and I just figured you was just going to work, and you actually were. and I could appreciate it. Like when you came back, like, damn, Tisha, where you been? You know what I'm saying? You give me all this flack for you doing what you need, doing whatever it is that you need to do for your house and your home. Now, let me ask this, because again, you're mentioning the BBC, you're mentioning me, you're saying what changed from I was watching and I felt guilty, so I stopped watching, I stopped paying attention, I stopped showing up, to later I'm watching, and I don't know, you started feeling liberated, or I don't know, what's that difference in time frame and difference in feeling and difference in perspective, so to speak?
It's something to see other people winning at something, and you sitting watching, and you saying in your heart, I want that for myself, but I can't do it because I'm in a financial prison. And a lot of Black people are in a financial prison. They want to invest, they want to per se become wealthy, but they don't want to get out of their comfort zone. They don't want to work an extra job at night, or they want to sleep at night, or on Saturdays they want to watch Netflix instead of go and work. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care you have to sell sandwiches out the back of your car. Whatever you need to do to get where you need to do. If you want it bad enough, you're going to get it. But, you know, just to sit there and watch, like you, when you was doing your Bitcoin, your crypto class, and I was just sitting there watching like, damn, I got $2,000, but I got to put it on credit cards. I got $2,000, but I ain't managed my money right in so long that where my $2,000 go, stuff like that. So when you sit every morning when you get up and it's a guy on live talking about cryptocurrency and how he already owned a Bitcoin and stuff like that, and you like, damn, that's my dream. Like that's something I want to do. But then you got this conviction coming and you be like, damn, I'm tied down in debt. Let me turn this off. I can't watch this no more. Because it brings you to accountability. And you may not think that what you is doing, people are watching, but a lot of people cannot watch it, bringing them into accountability. So that's why I said God is really using you, because if I didn't never continue to watch you, I probably would have paid my credit cards off, but I would have never got it as speedy as I just did it. The reason why I did it as speedy as I just did it, because I want to build wealth. And you cannot build wealth when you bait it down in debt. You gotta get rid of all of that. So even if you do get the wealth, you ain't gonna know how to manage it because you don't have no money management skills. So it's a process. So I'm glad that I was able to go through the process. I'm going through the process right now. So, yeah.
Now we have people here that is joining us here live. First and foremost, let's show some love to the sister and her strength, her courage. I would say it's courageous, to come and share your story. I think that's a difficult thing to do on live, on camera, to be able to serve people. Can I get some diva emojis in the chat, please? Some dresses, some crowns. Can I get some diva emojis in the chat? Because this sister didn't have to do this. I mean, I don't know where you guys may be, but this might be just what you needed to hear today. So I get some diva emojis, some dancing girls, some dresses in the chat, please. Let's show our love and appreciation for the sister. Sharing her story, sharing her testimony, which cannot be denied. For her, for her journey, from $15,000 in debt to I think it's 5 months later, so to speak, to doing it. And she, like she said, she just simply she simply made a decision. She was determined to do it. She started putting plans. She prayed. Started getting ideas from her Heavenly Father, and she started to execute. And 5 months later, $15,000 of debt has been washed away. Now, that's $15,000 of debt. That's not, now let's talk about the freedom, because what happens is, like you said, you were living off of the money that you made from your business, which I would say caused you to focus on making sure you made money to your business. But then now you got this freedom from whatever those payments were that were going into those credit cards, paying off that interest. Now you freed yourself to be able to use some, if not all of that money to go towards building the wealth that you were talking about.
Right. Yeah, that's another level of freedom. It feels amazing. So yeah. So now I have the ability to to strategize. But however, from being in the situation that I was in, now I guess a lot of people would go into celebration mode. They were like, oh, well, I was baited down in there so long. Let me just pretty much get everything that I wanted. But I don't think I ever feel like that no more. So when I get my money now, my money has a name on it, down to the cent. So I'll even have to strategize how I am going to get this cryptocurrency the way I want it. So I'm just breathing from this, so I'm getting ready to strategize this week how I am going to. If I put $15K into debt, I can put 15K into cryptocurrency.
You better say it. I'm sorry. Say that again. I mean, let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. Let's keep going. If you could put $15,000 in debt and you could pay off $15,000 in 5 months, you could put $15,000 in crypto. What else could you put $15,000 into? I'm like, come on now.
We can put $15,000 and probably could start another business. We can buy some land. We can build $15,000 emergency fund. It's a lot of things you can do with $15,000. So, like I said, there was a prison over my life, and now I am able to move freely. One of the things that I'm very interested in is giving back, though. So, I have to strategize. I don't never say no more what I'm gonna do. I just go and do it. But right now, my focus is gonna be on getting my cryptocurrency where I want to, because I know this is the future of money. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. I have friends in Nigeria. I got friends in Jamaica. Everybody is talking about cryptocurrency. It seemed like America just sprouted to this, but I've been talking to these people 12 years ago. They was talking about cryptocurrency. When we thought it was a scam, they was already investing in it. So I definitely feel behind on this. I feel behind on the crypto thing. So
now let me ask you this, because I don't think that, and I might be even new to me. Talk to me a little bit about, I guess, our relationship. Your experience in the BBC. You were there, you left, you came back, move back over to your left. You keep going over to the right. Where you going?
My wheels got my wheels.
So tell us, because now we're talking about the importance of your associations, right? The people that you're connected to in one way or another. As you said, you had people that would call you stupid, and they have all these different things they want to say about the plan that you're working to get somewhere. But then you also probably have people that that if they knew your plan were probably encouraging you and saying, "Oh yeah, saying, you ever think about this or thought about this?" So tell the people a little bit about our relationship. How do we get connected? The BBC, which is the group that we run, and I think it's been some help to you for this state, for this accomplishment that you're making, plus the accomplishment that you'll make in the future.
I first got connected. I first seen Evan on Instagram because I wasn't on Facebook for years. I first seen your live come up on Instagram, and you used to read in the mornings, I think, because I used to work day shift, and your lives used to pop up. And one morning, I ain't gonna even lie, I'm gonna be all transparent because, like I said, it's been a long time. So I be getting ready for work in the morning, and it popped up like 5:30, 6 o'clock on my phone, and I was like, "Who is this man reading to the world? What?" And so I stopped what I was doing. I said, "Let me listen." That was the first time I ever seen you had like a little afro thing, your little afro. And I said, "This man is reading." I said, "Ooh, a man reading to us?" And so it was called, then you say you was on YouTube and stuff like that. So I began to dig. But then he was like, "Well, I'm coming back tomorrow and I'm going to start reading books." And I was like, I never had. And like I said, my father was a part of my life, but that's another story. But a man reading to me, like, man never read to me. So I said, I'm going to get on every morning just to hear this man read. And then at first I was just looking at the man reading, and then I began to listen to what the man was reading about. And I said, what is he, in my mind, I'm saying, what is he talking about? Building wealth, the Black Billionaires Club. In your mind, you're saying, what is he talking about? Is he a billionaire? Is he wealthy? So then you begin to show receipts. And I was like, as the years went on, I started to see a change, and I started to say, he ain't just reading, or he ain't just getting on here. He's actually beginning to live what he's reading about and doing. So then I began to be inspired. And so then I went over to Facebook and I joined, that's last year before I got off, I joined the BBC. And then I was like, oh my God, all these ballers up in here. I'm just starting as an entrepreneur, and I'm like, oh, all of these connects. When I got in the group, I seen all of these connects, different peoples in different areas. And at first I was kind of overwhelmed, but I was like, wow, this is where I need to be. But at the time, I was like, in my negative mind, I said, I'm not ready. You know how my negative mind can say, well, you ain't ready for that. But today, I am ready for that. So I had to go through a process when I got ready to go back. And like I said, I just been back on here with you for a couple months. When I got back on, and then it started popping up on my Facebook. Evan Jefferson, cryptocurrency. I started working at night. I seen it at like 4 or 5. I said, what is Evan into now? He was talking about cash out, like shares and stuff like that. And shit, I done cashed all mine out because hell, I was in debt. And I was like, oh, I'm so ashamed of that shit. And so I said, he's on to cryptocurrency now. Then you start posting about it. I said, man, I got to get my life together. I said, man, I got to get my life together. I am getting behind in this debt. So and then another thing too, you are a godly man. So out of all respect, you have to respect that. Like, you just have to respect that. So you're gonna be blessed. But you may not see, like you posted the other day, you don't have like a lot of, you're not a celebrity. Like I see all these celebrities and stuff when they post stuff like thousands of shares and everybody jumping in. People are paying $5 to hear you talk about cryptocurrency. Actually, you worth way more than that. And people see this stuff, but they don't like the truth. They want a lot of bullshit because what you teaching brings them to accountability. A lot of the other people that's teaching all that stuff, they charging these people, they're not staying connected to those people like you are. They're not actually getting on lives and checking in on this and bringing these people to accountability. That's why they like stuff like that. They can jump on, jump off. But your BBC, it's a whole new world. It brings people into accountability. It really helped me. And it's gonna really help me get that 20K in cryptocurrency. So I gotta ride along, and since I said this on live, I got to start proving it out now. So yeah.
Well, I you know what? I actually appreciate it because you shared a side. You know, I'm almost oblivious sometimes. You know, I just go on live. I just try to do what I do, and let things, you know, chips fall where they're made. But hearing your honest truth, you know, it really opens up some things for me to just really consider and to understand. Like you said at first you was just watching the man, then eventually you started listening to the man. Like that means a lot. I mean, I hope that helps a lot of people, because as an individual, sometimes even women, men, I'm just thinking about a lot of people right now. Sometimes you don't know why someone may be tuning in or supporting or whatever. But if you keep on sowing the word and you keep on doing what you do, then eventually they might actually start listening to you. So, you know, that helps me in dealing with other people that might come around, or new people who, for whatever reason, you know, they got the word, but you know, it may take them a while before they actually start listening to the word. So that is absolutely phenomenal. So I want to make sure we give the audience an opportunity to ask any questions. And I'm not quite sure whether, you know, you have a few more things that you'd like to share with them as your experience, you know, again, your journey into debt, your journey out of debt, and basically how you processed it, how you felt about it, how you dealt with it as a woman. Yeah, so very powerful. Let's catch up on these comments again. If you guys got any questions for myself or for Miss Tisha, who's sharing this wonderful testimony with you, feel free to put that in the comments below. Miss Bolden is here, said you're an inspiration. BBC, great teachings. Someone from the BBC said they're so proud of you, Miss Tisha. Miss Vivian Reed, he always so much more. He always so much more value than what is paid to. Mr. Jefferson, I appreciate you. Miss Vivian, Miss Rhonda Holmes in the house says, great show. What do you say, Miss Rhonda? Great show. I gave my entire stimulus $1,400 to a credit card. The minimum was $150 a month. Trying to eliminate it. Instead of wasting it on crap, I try to pay cash credit for emergencies, home repairs, and travels. All right, Miss Holmes. All right. Facebook user, the BBC has touched the lives of many. Appreciate you, the user there, Miss Michelle, Teresa Coakley, Miss 15 names, powerful, speaks volume, powerful speaks volumes. Okay, what's your question, Miss Vivian? What's your question? Anybody got any questions? Again, we just did this out the blue. It wasn't. We don't normally do broadcasts at night. We do have a book club reading that she was talking about. We'll do at 9 o'clock. All right. So Ms. Vivian is asking, did you consolidate your debt first before you started making payments? Did you go through some type of debt consolidation program?
No.
Or something?
No, my pencil and paper was a debt consolidation. It cost $1 from Dollar Tree.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I went, a lot of people was telling me, a lot of broke people, they was telling me, oh, well, you should file bankruptcy on those cards. Like, oh, I would never pay that amount of money. You know what you can do with that amount of money instead of paying in debt consolidation and all of that. So I do not believe, I believe in, if I did something, I'm going to be accountable for it. So I don't, if you consolidate your debt, you never learn to be disciplined with your money because somebody took it and they pinned it out for you, or you filed bankruptcy and it went away. So really the cycle just continues to start over and over again. You don't really learn anything. And
let me share a story with it. And I noticed also what you said, I'll speak to this as well. For those that don't know who I am a certified financial educator. I've been teaching Black folk about money for over a decade. I've been studying money for over 20 years. And let's talk about this debt consolidation, right? So there's a difference between bankruptcy and debt consolidation. I guess we can call it the same thing. Now, you notice what you said. You said a lot of broke people. This was their advice. they knee deep in debt. They trying to tell you what to do with money. You definitely, probably not a good idea to take advice from them. Okay, probably not a good idea to take advice from them. So we kind of went through a process, guys. We shared a couple of steps, right? Right. Well, first, you got to decide you want to free yourself. That's the first thing. You have to make a decision within your own consciousness that this is something that you're going to do. If it's like Ms. Rhonda Holmes is saying, the second step is to know your numbers, to go through that process of writing everything down and looking at it. Doing that step right there is going to bring about hopefully a few ideas on how you can take care of it. Right. Then I would say the next step, before you even think about that consolidation, here's the next thing you got to think of. I would think about, right? How can I make more money? Okay. How can I increase my income? That would be the next thing I'd be thinking about. How can I increase my, even if it's only temporary? Now, here's the deal. What I know, just watching people, you waste a lot of time every day. You waste a lot of time every day. What if you start getting paid for your time? So if you start thinking about how can I increase my income, guess what? That's a prayer. That's asking God, what can I do to increase my income? And guess what? He's going to show you some ideas on how you can increase your income. Okay. Now you could go the route of consolidation if you like. I mean, but like she said, that extends your payments. It might get a better interest rate, all this stuff. I'm telling you, the stuff that they tell y'all to get y'all to do stuff, to get you to sign your name on a dotted line, it's not really for the benefit of you.
And you got to pay more money. Ain't
right.
Free.
It ain't free, right? You got to pay for the transaction to take place to do the consolidation, and then you're paying a longer term. My mom, when she went through her stuff, I think she's probably refinanced this home 2 or 3 times. Like it'll never be paid off, almost as if it'll never be paid off. Just refinance. When you get into a financial, crisis, refinance. So you basically are just saying we're gonna keep on extending out this mortgage that should have been paid off 10 years ago. Now you got to pay another 50 years on it.
Right.
That's the consolidation. You know what I'm saying? So begin to understand if this is something that you desire to do, if this is something for you. Now this works in every area of life, not just money. There's other things that you might want to do. You still need to know something. Need to figure out what's the next step. What you need to do in order to get what's the next step to get you close to that thing. Here's another question for you, Miss Tisha. Have you put your mother and daughter on your payroll yet for taxes?
Yeah, my mom is on payroll. My daughters are too young. They can't work legally, and they can't work legally, like run through feds and stuff like that. But my mom, I pay my mom every week, and we use Square. We use Square payroll. Yes. So that when you put your family on payroll, I want my mama to be paying into her Social Security and her Medicare and stuff like that. So that's another thing with building your business. Make sure that your family or whoever is getting paid, so that they're paying into the system right, and so also that they can file their federal income tax. And then if my mom get ready to buy a car, whatever, we can prove income. So you want to legalize and do all that correctly. Yeah.
Hey, Miss Glenda Tate Williams said, I'm going to the Dollar Tree. I'm so inspired now to get out of debt. Miss Glenda Tate Williams. All right. Yes, sir. Is there a way to stop the interest from building? Not that I'm aware of. I mean, as long as you have an open account, the interest, as long as you owe on the account, the interest is going to keep building. Is there a way for you maybe to renegotiate the interest? Quite possibly. If your credit is better today than it was whenever you got your credit card account, you could, and especially during like a COVID-19 time frame, it would be, and it is smart to give those creditors a call. Say, hey, right here. Okay, let me say this because I don't think people have heard this. I want you to understand, like, you got to understand who's in power, who's in control. The person that's in control is the person who's in control is not the person that's begging for the money back. The person who's in control is the person who's got the money. Right. For example, if I borrowed something from Tisha and I wanted that back, she's in control. All I can do is keep asking. So she's got the power. I got the begging going on. That's the same way with your creditors. Your creditors want you to pay that money back. That puts you in power. So for you to pick up the phone or whatever, call them, say, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what I like to do. Not from no begging standpoint. Here's an option for you to get your money back. I want y'all to start talking to these motherfuckers like they work for you. Here's an option. You want to get paid back? Here's an option. Why don't we look at our credit score, and why don't we start looking at, if there's an opportunity for us to reduce this interest payment, this interest that y'all got? Because I'm doing a little bit better than I was 5 years ago. My credit's a little bit better than it was when I got this interest rate. Is that, can we do something like that? All right. I want y'all start acting like they work for you, because they actually do.
Yeah. And they'll start calling you too. They was calling my phone like every other day. So I finally answer and tell them, well, I'm going to pay you the way I want to pay you when I get ready. And I just hang the phone up. Yeah. Because you do hold the power. However, you got to get out of the debt, because it's going to, they say wealthy people don't need credit. I'm trying to get wealthy. So as long as you have credit card debt and stuff like that, your credit score is going to be hurt. So that was another thing that was important to me, was getting my credit score back at 700. The moment I paid my credit, my Capital One card off, like 4 days later, my credit score went up 15 points. So my Chase has not updated yet, but it's gonna be back at 700. However, so many people done told me, once you get wealthy people don't need credit. So I'm working on the next level of my finances right now. So, but right now my credit score is very important. So, yeah.
Now, are you also? I think also a lesson from this is have you been working on your business credit?
Right, I have. Right,
okay.
I did several things to get trade lines. A lot of people don't know what trade lines is, but I got trade lines on my business. My business credit is A1 right now. I got one. You can buy some trade lines. I bought one trade line from Navi. It's a Navi app where it watches your Duns and Bradfield. That's $39 a month. I pay that. That goes directly to my Jay's Beauty account, and then I open up 2 more trade lines, which inside of our store we have bags. So I open up the Uline account and I just pay them back. They open up like a net 60. And then I did a Quill account, and it's on a net 30, I believe. Net 30 or next. So that's 3 hits on my business credit. So by me doing that, and I pay them off every month, which I don't even use them no more. They just sitting there right now. My business credit is up. And then the next step that I had to do, I had to get I wanted to get a DUNS number, because when I get ready for the big corporate stuff, I need to have my stuff in order. So I got my DUNS number about 2 months ago. And I got my DUNS number and everything connected to that, and everything is rolling good. So
Okay.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, man. So again, guys, I mean, I really, shout out to Tisha, also to all her supporters. I say shout out to her haters too, because the haters probably motivated. Say, oh, you don't think okay, I'm gonna show you. So I appreciate it as well. But you guys, the BBC, in case you guys don't know, it's the Black Billionaires Club. I know you guys probably hear me talk a lot about crypto. I want you guys to understand, we talk about money. We talk about getting wealthy. We talk about business and stuff like that. So I think people get a little confused, because that's the hot topic, and that's what most people want to talk about, and that's fine. But there's a lot more to our organization, a lot more to our members, because everyone's not doing the same thing. So we try our best to help out everyone, no matter where they are, what they're trying to accomplish. And so hopefully, as you consider where you are and what you're doing, hopefully you got some accountability people that's going to hold you to greatness as well. As she said, man, I didn't take it easy. I just kept pumping it out, and I did not know, that she, as she shared today, how it was affecting her. But eventually, she came back to what she considers to be the truth, and I just share the truth. I just share what I know.
So I want to say one more thing too.
Go ahead.
I think when you get on and you talk about how to build wealth, they get hyped up. Like, a lot of people are hyped up, but they want to skip the step of how you get there, because it's a process. A lot of Black people are, I would say, down here as far as the knowledge base of how to manage money and how to get in debt, because you can say all day, well, I'm going to get on. We had like this April challenge on the crypto where we was paying so much and everybody had how much money they going to get. It don't matter how much money you have in crypto and bank and shares. If you have skipped the basics, if you got all this money in cryptocurrency, but you still up on the landlord and you paying $700 a month and you still can't feed your kids, or you working a job at Walmart, you still don't have no emergency fund. You still have no other vision of building yourself to another level. Wealth is several levels to it. So they want to skip. A lot of people want to skip the basics. They want to say, "Oh, well, he gonna show me how to get rich. Let me tune in." But it's work that has to be done on the ground, because, like my mom, I'm gonna stop eating this because I talk way too much. But my mom, she's 50-something years old. She has no money knowledge. But I told my mama the other day, did you know that you can put money into cryptocurrency, like $20 a week, and it'll start making you money? And my mama said, hell yeah, where is that? So it's just like they have lack of knowledge of how to build their credit, how to even get to these levels. But you can't really build wealth if you slump down in all kind of debt. You can't move capital. So that's just my take on it. But I just feel like in this group, I see a lot of entrepreneurs, like in the Black Billionaires Club, a lot of entrepreneurs and this and that. But a lot of people must understand it is several steps that these people and sacrifices they went through to get to where they are. Like you said, you sold a whole bunch of stuff. You had to sell a lot of stuff when you got ready to get out of corporate America. You had to do some things to get to where you are. You didn't jump up and have all that cryptocurrency. So it's just how it works.
and the woman has spoken. Hey, so that's what we got, guys. For those that will be joining us here in an hour, we will be continue our journey into the universe of success. As she said, man, she started to realize I was reading because I was turning myself into what I was reading. And we continue to do that. And we'll be doing that at 9 o'clock. I believe we'll be talking about how to program yourself for success. I believe that's what we were talking about tonight. Anyway, you can join us at 9 o'clock. We'll be on the Financial Health Mentor page, BBC as well, Black Billionaires Club TV. In the comments below, man, love you to share your takeaway from today. Get some pineapples in the chat if you learned something. Get some divas in the chat if you are showing your appreciation for this Black woman who paid off $15,000 in debt in basically 5 months, and she just simply went to work. She decided she was going to do something, and she did it. It's really just that simple, but also includes the plan, the strategy, the prayer, the guidance, the support, and also the motivation from the haters. And so I always tell people that, and this is from, I believe, from Frederick Douglass, there is no progress without struggle. There is no progress without struggle. And that struggle is there to help you become a better man or woman, help to shore up your character, and as it relates to perseverance and resolve. All right, there is no progress without struggle. Well, Miss Tisha, I want to say thanks so much. I know you got to tend to the children for a little while, and you'll be ready to rock and roll with us at 9 o'clock for the New Black Wall Street Book Club After Dark edition. For everyone else, I will say thanks so much for tuning in. Hit that like button, share button. Let people know that we're here talking about real grown folk shit. Okay, grown folk shit, man. I want you guys to remember this, man. It takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all got, beautiful people. A matter of fact, we really need. And thank God, that's more than enough. Until next episode, you know what time it is. Mr. DJ, hit the music somewhere.
The New Black Wall Street. Thanks you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We will see you all there at the next episode of The New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street.